Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation, and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. It's time to let go of negative thinking, understand why you do what you do, and stop the self-sabotage. With your host, Fran Excel.
Welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel, your resident subconscious success mentor, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. If you want to stop sabotaging your own success and let go of the stress, then you are in the right place, my friend. Make sure you download your free Stressed to Success guided meditation at bit.ly/stressed to success as my little gift to you for being here. Please do subscribe, share, review. It really, really helps people that need to hear this message find us, and I so appreciate it. In the show notes, you will also find details of how you can work with me and where you can get your mitts on my meditations, products, and printables. You can also find it through the link in my bio on Instagram, which is my second favorite place to hang out. So please do come join me over there at I'm Fran Excel. Tag me in your takeaways, slide into my DMs. I am here for it. So that is the formalities over, my love. So let's jump into the content. Let's stop saying we're fine if we're not. It's so counterintuitive, but it's also kind of loaded in many ways. Where does the impulse come from to reply, I'm fine, yeah, good, to the question, how are you? Even if it's not true. It's such a funny societal thing that I'd like to dig a little bit into in the hopes if you're listening, you might kind of choose to respond differently and create some space maybe and some freedom for yourself. Maybe not with everybody, but maybe with at least with someone who matters. This last year has been very, very weird. None of this is normal. I know I have listeners all over the world, but here in the UK, we're still in a full lockdown across the country. And I feel like this one is kind of hitting people a lot harder. We also have to be honest about some of the huge big things that have been happening all across the world this last year. Like, this has not been a normal year. It's been a year full to the brim of collective and personal trauma. But it seems more than ever, people don't want to share what's really going on for them. There's so much opinion telling you what you should or shouldn't do, think, feel, or say, or be, that we've kind of become disconnected to what or who that even is for ourselves. This is leading to the denial of negative feelings, guilt for having more than other people, feeling like you have to keep quiet, like if you have it better than someone else, it means you haven't got a right to feel bad. It's all total rubbish. But it's all perspective too. For example, there are people who are suffering and struggling because they're on their own. There's a lot of focus on that. But there are people who are suffering and struggling because they can't be on their own. There are people loving that they can't be on their own and they get to spend all their time with their close loved ones. And there are people loving being on their own. So who's right in this example? Do you see? Who has a right to feel bad? Who doesn't have a right to feel good because someone else feels bad? Can you see how kind of bonkers this way of thinking is? It's creating a fear around our own feelings and emotions. You know, even if you don't want to share your feelings with the world, you should at least feel okay sharing with your friends and loved ones, no? How is anything going to change if you don't? Like, you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders. If you're in that space, how much progress do you think you're going to make? This goes for life and business, as the usual. How helpful do you think it is, feeling like you've wasted this time in lockdown if you haven't made 7 figures in your business while learning ballet, Greek and guitar online and become a qualified chef and dancer? I mean, can we all just take a little step back for a minute? I don't mean this just related to the shocking 12 months we've all had. I mean it in life in general. Can we all just start being a bit more honest about our feelings without feeling bad about it? To other people and to ourselves? Sometimes, let's be honest, someone else's perspective or a different viewpoint can change yours in an instant. Meaning you save tons of time not feeling rubbish. So why do we deny ourselves this? Why do we feel like we aren't allowed, or that we shouldn't, or that it's socially unacceptable to struggle sometimes? Challenge that belief. Where does it come from? If one of your friends or loved ones was having a hard time, like, you'd want them to tell you, right? So so many of us are so emotionally disconnected to ourselves. Your emotions drive your behavior, so it's worth having a look at it, right? And at least knowing what they are. We all have our strategies for dealing with big emotions too. That might come in the form of procrastination or numbing or overworking and heading for burnout, not taking any time for rest, not looking after our bodies, addiction. So many strategies that could be worked through by just admitting that you don't feel fine. Yeah, let's realize why we've learned to do this in the first place. It's been frowned upon in society to be negative, to moan. You know, it's particularly us Brits, stiff upper lip. Yeah, even using these words isn't great. Negative, moan. Why is it that being honest about not feeling great is considered moaning in the first place? We've been taught time and time again that we shouldn't feel certain ways, that they are undesirable in some way by society and by us. Yeah. It could be that we were punished as children when our big emotions were inconvenient. So we were taught to deny them or hide them. Massive tractor just went by. This is what happened to me. I was at boarding school age 11 and my best friend back home died suddenly. The teachers, my friends, no one around me knew what to do with a hysterical 11-year-old girl. I certainly didn't know what to do with those emotions. It wasn't anything I'd experienced before. And I couldn't run to my parents. So I learned that big emotions were inconvenient, were unacceptable. There was something to be ridiculed, is unfortunately what I learned. It meant, as much as I was an empathetic person as an adult, and was always the one talking to other people about their feelings for my whole entire life, to be fair, I wasn't doing it myself. It also eluded me that this was the case because I was always the one having the deep and meaningful conversations with people at the party. I was the one helping them solve their problems, but I hadn't realized I was ignoring my own, denying my own, which meant they stayed pent up inside of me and would often come out at times when the emotion I was feeling was nothing to do with what was right in front of me. This happens, right? You get triggered and emotion comes out. For example, feeling rage at a partner, but it was coming from somewhere else, right? Emotions have a funny way of doing that when you deny them and you don't listen. And it's taken a lot of work for me to unlearn this. In my teenage years, to be fair, I was very much an emotional teen, but I also learned every single time I shared that my emotions were inconvenient. It was like, oh, come on, stiff upper lip stuff. Yeah, especially when you're a teenager, no one wants to handle big emotions, right? So it really has taken a lot of work to unlearn this. And the same thing comes to feeling like we shouldn't ask for help, that it means that we are failing in some way or not good enough if we do. But can you think of a time that you have been honest with someone, or they've been honest with you and it's made things 10 times better in a really short space of time? I'm sure you can. If we were all a bit more honest about this stuff with ourselves and those close to us, we might see how common it is and feel less alone. We might also be able to move through it more quickly. It doesn't help to deny any of this. It just makes it last longer. But why are we so afraid of the truth, really? Are we scared that someone may judge us? Might think that we're failing or not doing well? Where does the shame and the embarrassment really come from? Whose judgment specifically are we afraid of? Is it a fear of being rejected? Is it the fact that if we say it out loud, it becomes real? Are we afraid it might upset someone or cause conflict in some way? Does it not fit in with the identity that you've built for yourself? That strong, positive, always has it together person. You can't have a meltdown. Yeah? Is it because it's such a programmed, automatic question that you kind of don't know if the person asking it really even wants the answer? Do you even know what you really feel if you had to name it? There's so much unconscious programming in all of this. I just want us to start to challenge it a little and not just accept our thoughts as facts all the time. There is power in radical honesty, particularly with ourselves. And if you don't want to talk to a friend or loved one, then talking with a coach or a therapist can really help you unpick all of this and start to make progress and normalize being able to feel, be honest about, and communicate your feelings. So let's try and bring back some connection while we all have to be apart, right? So next time someone asks, how are you? What's the real answer? What's the worst that could happen if you just said it out loud? What's the story that you're telling? Your emotions are valid, my love. Sometimes there's an easy reframe, a different perspective that can totally change your outlook in an instant. But what are you telling yourself happens if you're honest? This goes for generally in life, around our current situation, but in your business too. Wouldn't it be better to just find a way out of the struggle when you don't have to stay there? Why do we do this to ourselves? So stop denying your feelings. Stop denying your experiences. They deserve your attention. And it's okay to feel your feelings, and it's far more exhausting to hide them. So if you've got value from this and you know in your gut that now is the time to step up and start rewiring your thinking and start changing things for yourself, then please do book in a free discovery call so we can work out what needs to happen to get you from where you're at right now to the action-taking success you know you can be. If you want my eyes and ears on your problems, then I do work with people one-on-one and through the Proactive Pants program. You can find all the details to book in a call in the show notes, the link in my bio on Instagram, and on my website, franexcel.com. So stop waiting for if and when and choose to change things now, because you can. I am here to believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. And as always, I hope you found this helpful. And as always, I will see you next week. Bye.